The call came at the worst possible time. Marcus Everett was elbow deep in quarterly projections when his phone buzzed, the kindergarten's number flashing on the screen. His stomach dropped as he answered, already knowing what he would hear. "Mr. Everett, this is Mrs. Patel from Sunshine Elementary. I'm afraid Lily has a fever." Marcus closed his eyes and pinched the bridge of his nose. "How high?" 101.2. "She needs to be picked up within the hour." "I'll be there as soon as I can," he promised, hanging up and staring at the spreadsheets covering his desk. The board meeting was in 3 hours. A meeting where he needed to convince the directors that his leadership hadn't wavered, despite the personal challenges of the past year. He scrolled through his contacts, landing on babysitter Karen. The college student who occasionally watched Lily had assured him she was generally available on short notice. Marcus hit dial without hesitation. "Hello." The voice that answered was unfamiliar, slightly husky, as if its owner had just woken up. "Karen, it's Marcus Everett. I have an emergency and need you to watch Lily this afternoon. I know it's last minute. I'm sorry, but I think you have the wrong number. This isn't Karen." Marcus frowned, checking the screen. "Oh, I apologize. I must have dialed incorrectly." Yet something about her voice kept him from hanging up immediately. "Actually, this is going to sound incredibly desperate, but I'm in a serious bind. My daughter's sick at school. I have a critical meeting, and He stopped himself. "Never mind. I'm sorry to bother you." There was a pause on the other end. "How old is your daughter?" 5, almost 6, he answered, surprised by the question. "And you need someone just for the afternoon?" Marcus blinked. "Yes, only until about 7 tonight. But really, I shouldn't be asking a stranger. I'm a pediatric nurse. Currently between jobs, actually." Another pause. "This is completely unorthodox. But if you're truly in a bind, I might be able to help. You'd be welcome to check my credentials." Marcus hesitated, torn between desperation and rational caution. "I couldn't ask that of someone I don't know." "You're not asking. I'm offering. And believe me, I understand how much verification you'd need. I'd expect nothing less." 20 minutes later, Marcus stood in the lobby of his downtown high-rise, watching a taxi pull up to the curb. When the woman stepped out, he felt a jolt of recognition, even though they'd never met. She was tall and slender, with copper brown hair falling in waves around her shoulders. Dressed in simple jeans and a deep blue sweater, she carried a small backpack and wore an expression that was both professional and kind. "Mr. Everett." She extended her hand. Sophia Reeves, her handshake, was firm, her eyes a startling shade of green that reminded him of the coast in summer. Marcus realized he was staring and quickly cleared his throat. "Thank you for coming, Ms. Reeves. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this." He gestured toward the security desk. "They'll need to see your ID." She nodded, already reaching for her wallet. "Of course." While security made a copy of her credentials, Marcus studied her quietly. There was something instantly reassuring about her presence. A calm confidence that seemed to create a bubble of order around her. "You mentioned you're between jobs?" he asked as they waited. "Yes. I specialized in pediatric oncology at Boston Children's for 6 years. I recently relocated to be closer to my mother. She's been having health issues." Sophia accepted her ID back from security. "I start at Metro Children's next month." Marcus nodded, leading her to the private elevator. "I'm sorry about your mother." "Thank you. She's improving." Sophia entered the elevator beside him. "May I ask about your daughter? What's her name and what symptoms was she showing?" "Lily. And just a fever so far, according to the school nurse. Any chronic conditions I should know about? Medications? Allergies?" The elevator climbed smoothly toward the penthouse, as Marcus explained Lily's medical history, including her mild asthma. By the time they reached his apartment, he had provided Sophia with emergency contacts, pediatrician information, and his own direct line. "I need to pick her up from school now," he said, grabbing his keys. "If you're still comfortable with this arrangement, I'll bring her back here. The guest room is set up if she needs to rest." Sophia nodded. "I'll be fine." And Mr. Everett, children, usually bounce back quickly. "Try not to worry too much while you're at your meeting." Something in her tone, understanding without pity, made Marcus pause at the door. "Thank you." When Marcus returned 40 minutes later, with a flushed and drowsy Lily in his arms, he found the apartment subtly transformed. Sophia had prepared the guest bedroom with extra pillows and a glass of water on the nightstand. The kitchen counter held supplies she must have found in his cabinets. A digital thermometer, children's Tylenol, a bowl with ice water, and a cloth. "Hey there!" Sophia's voice softened as she approached them. "You must be Lily. I'm Sophia. Dad asked me to keep you company today while he finishes some important work." Lily buried her face in Marcus's shoulder, peering out with one eye at the stranger. "She's usually more talkative," Marcus explained, rubbing his daughter's back. "Feeling shy is perfectly normal when you don't feel well," Sophia assured them both. She crouched slightly to meet Lily's eye level. "I heard you have a collection of stuffed animals. Which one helps you feel better when you're sick?" Lily's voice was barely audible. "Pancake." "Pancake." Sophia smiled. "That's a fantastic name. Who is Pancake?" "My sloth," Lily mumbled. "He's slow at everything." "Well, slow is exactly right for a sick day. Should we get Pancake and make you both comfortable?" Marcus felt Lily nod against his neck. He carried her to her bedroom, Sophia following at a respectful distance. The room was decorated in shades of purple and teal, with constellations painted on the ceiling, a project he'd undertaken during those first terrible months after Rachel's death, when sleep eluded them both. "Pancake is on the bookshelf," Lily directed, and Marcus retrieved the well-loved stuffed sloth with its impossibly long arms. After settling Lily in the guest bedroom and making sure she was comfortable with Sophia, Marcus reluctantly prepared to leave. "My meeting should be done by 6, he explained, straightening his tie. "I've put the pediatrician's number on the fridge, and my assistant's line is there too, in case you can't reach me directly." "We'll be fine," Sophia assured him. She was sitting in an armchair near the bed, already reading a picture book to Lily, who was cuddled with Pancake and looking considerably less miserable than she had at school. "Daddy has to go to his big meeting now," Lily announced seriously. "He's the boss of everybody." Marcus felt his face warm. "Not everybody, Lil." "Yes, everybody," she insisted, then turned to Sophia. "He has to wear his scary face to meetings, but it's just pretend." Sophia's lips twitched. "I'm sure your dad is very good at his job." "The best," Lily said with absolute conviction before a yawn overtook her. Marcus kissed his daughter's forehead, relieved to find it cooler than before. "Be good for Sophia, okay? I'll be back before you know it." As he headed for the door, Sophia followed him into the hallway. "Her fever's coming down already. I suspect it's just a mild virus. Try not to worry. That's not my strong suit," Marcus admitted. "Not since." He stopped, unwilling to burden this kind stranger with his personal history. Something in Sophia's expression told him she understood anyway. She's in good hands. Go be the boss of everybody. For the first time that day, Marcus felt himself smile genuinely. "Thank you again, Ms. Reeves." "Sophia," she corrected gently. "Now go put on your scary face." The board meeting lasted longer than expected, stretching past 6 o'clock as questions mounted about the company's expansion into European markets. Though Marcus maintained his focus externally, part of his mind remained in the penthouse with his daughter and the mysterious woman who had appeared in his life through a wrong number. When he finally unlocked his apartment door at 7:30, the scene that greeted him was unexpected. The coffee table was covered with construction paper, markers, and what appeared to be a half-completed board game fashioned entirely from household items. Sophia sat cross-legged on the floor, cutting shapes from colored paper, while Lily, wearing pajamas and looking remarkably improved, arranged tiny paper tokens on a game board. "Daddy!" Lily exclaimed, jumping up. "We invented a game. It's called Hospital Heroes, and I'm winning." Marcus set down his briefcase, taking in the creative chaos. "I see that. How are you feeling, sweetheart?" "Much better. Sophia made me special tea, and we took a nap, and then my fever went away so we could play. Did you know Sophia takes care of sick kids as her job? And once she helped a little boy who had to stay in the hospital for 100 days. 104, actually," Sophia corrected with a gentle smile, standing up and brushing paper, scraps from her jeans. "She's been fever-free since 5 o'clock. I've been monitoring her temperature hourly." "Thank you," Marcus said, the words seemingly inadequate for the transformation he was witnessing. His daughter, typically withdrawn, with new people since Rachel's death, was practically vibrating with enthusiasm. "Can Sophia stay for dinner?" Lily asked, tugging at his hand. "Please. I want to finish our game." Marcus glanced at Sophia, who was already gathering her belongings. "I'm sure Ms. Reeves has plans." "No plans," Sophia interjected, then looked slightly embarrassed. "But I don't want to impose. You've both had a long day. Please stay." Marcus heard himself say, "It's the least I can do to thank you, unless you'd rather not." Their eyes met across the room, and something flickered between them, a moment of connection that caught Marcus off guard. He hadn't felt that particular sensation in a very long time. "I'd like that," Sophia finally answered. "Thank you." Over a simple dinner of pasta that Marcus managed to prepare without disaster, he learned more about Sophia Reeves. Born in Seattle, educated in Chicago, she'd spent her career devoted to children with cancer, until her mother's stroke had brought her back to the East Coast. She spoke with passion about her work, her eyes lighting up when describing breakthroughs in pediatric treatment. "Most people find it depressing," she admitted, twirling pasta on her fork. "But there's nothing like the moment when a child who's been through months of treatment finally gets to ring the remission bell. It makes everything worth it, even the hard parts," Marcus asked quietly. Sophia met his gaze, especially those. After dinner, Lily insisted on finishing their invented game, which had surprisingly complex rules for something created by a 5-year-old and an adult in an afternoon. Marcus found himself drawn into their world, laughing more than he had in months, as Lily dramatically narrated each game move with hospital-based storylines. When Lily's eyelids finally began to droop around 9, Marcus carried her to bed. He returned to find Sophia placing the last of the game pieces into a shoebox. "We can save it," she explained. Lily was very concerned about being able to play again. "Again?" Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Are you planning return visits?" The moment the words left his mouth, he regretted their presumptuous tone. But Sophia didn't seem offended. "That depends," she replied with surprising directness. "Would you like me to come back?" Marcus hesitated, unused to such straightforwardness. "Lily certainly would. And you?" He reached for honesty. "Yes, but not as an emergency babysitter." He took a breath. "I'd like to get to know you properly. Maybe over dinner sometime. When you're not here because I dialed the wrong number." Sophia's smile was warm but cautious. I should be clear about something. I don't typically get involved with clients. I'm not technically a client. You haven't even let me pay you for today. You haven't offered, because I assumed you'd refuse. Marcus stepped closer. Am I wrong? Sophia tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The first gesture of uncertainty he'd seen from her. No, you're not wrong. Today wasn't about money. Then what was it about? She considered his question carefully. Sometimes we encounter moments where we can choose to step into someone else's story or walk away. Today felt like one of those moments. Marcus nodded slowly. I'm glad you stepped in. So am I. She gathered her backpack, extracting a business card and placing it on the counter. My actual number, in case you want to call the right person. Next time. Marcus picked up the card, their fingers brushing. I'm beginning to think there was nothing wrong about that call. After Sophia left, Marcus stood at his apartment window, watching until he saw her emerge onto the street below and hail a taxi. Something had shifted in his carefully structured world. A world he'd rebuilt piece by piece. After Rachel's accident left him a widower with a 3-year-old daughter. For the first time in 2 years, he felt a door opening to possibilities he'd forced himself not to consider. He tucked Sophia's card into his wallet, knowing he wouldn't wait the customary 3 days before calling, but fate had other plans. The next morning, Lily woke with her fever returned and a concerning cough. Marcus immediately called their pediatrician, who recommended bringing her in. By afternoon, they had a diagnosis: bronchitis with her asthma complicating matters. The doctor prescribed antibiotics and increased nebulizer treatments. For the next 3 days, Marcus worked remotely, coordinating major decisions from his apartment. While tending to Lily, he had to reschedule 2 important meetings. But his team stepped up admirably. On the evening of the 3rd day, as Lily finally began showing improvement, he found Sophia's card again. He hesitated only briefly before dialing. Hello? Her voice was just as he remembered. Sophia? It's Marcus Everett. Marcus. He could hear the smile in her voice. I was beginning to think you'd changed your mind. Never. But Lily's been quite sick. Bronchitis complicated by her asthma. We've been homebound since the day after you were here. I'm so sorry to hear that. How is she doing now? Better. Finally turning the corner. He paused. Actually, she's been asking about you. Has she? Constantly. The Hospital Heroes game is apparently unfinished business. Sophia laughed. It is a rather complex game. We might need several more sessions. Would tomorrow evening work? For dinner again, Marcus asked. Lily would love to see you, and so would I. There was a brief silence. Marcus, I'd like that. But, is this a playdate for Lily, or something else? Her directness was refreshing. Both, if I'm being honest. I enjoy your company, and Lily clearly adores you. But I understand if that complicates things. Life is complicated, Sophia responded, thoughtfully. I just prefer clarity about which complications I'm walking into. Fair enough. Then let me be clear. I'd like you to come for dinner tomorrow as my guest, not as Lily's caretaker. And yes, she'll be there, because she's always there. She's the most important part of my life. Anyone who spends time with me needs to understand that. I wouldn't expect anything less, Sophia said softly. What time should I arrive? The next evening, Marcus found himself unusually nervous. As he prepared dinner, he'd chosen to make his mother's recipe for chicken piccata, one of the few dishes he could prepare with confidence, and had even bought flowers for the table, an act that made him feel simultaneously romantic and ridiculous. Lily was beside herself with excitement, changing outfits 3 times before settling on her favorite purple dress with stars. She insisted on making a welcome card, hunched over the coffee table in intense concentration as she created a masterpiece of glitter and stickers. "Is Sophia your girlfriend now?" Lily asked suddenly, not looking up from her artwork. Marcus nearly dropped the lemon he was zesting. "No, sweetheart, she's a new friend." Lily considered this, her small forehead creased in thought. "But you like her? Like her?" "I think she's very nice," Marcus evaded, wondering when his 5-year-old had developed such perception. "Mommy would want you to have a girlfriend," Lily announced with the absolute certainty only children possess. "She told me angels get lonely too." Marcus froze, emotions flooding through him. "When did she tell you that?" "In my dream." Lily shrugged, as if this was perfectly normal. "She visits sometimes. She said you work too hard and forget to smile." Before Marcus could process this revelation, the doorbell rang. Lily jumped up, scattering glitter. "She's here." Sophia stood at the door, holding a small gift bag and wearing a simple green dress that made her eyes appear even more striking. She'd pulled her hair back, revealing elegant earrings that caught the light when she moved. "These are for you," she said to Lily, handing her the bag. "Something to help when you're not feeling well." Lily peered inside and gasped, pulling out a small plush medical kit. "Look, Daddy, it has a stethoscope and everything." "What do we say?" Marcus prompted gently. "Thank you." Lily threw her arms around Sophia's waist in an impulsive hug that seemed to surprise both adults. Over dinner, the conversation flowed naturally. From Lily's animated descriptions of kindergarten politics to Sophia's amusing stories about her own childhood, Marcus found himself relaxing, enjoying the novel experience of adult conversation that wasn't focused on business or Lily's well-being. After they tucked Lily into bed, an honor Sophia was granted after passionate lobbying from the 5-year-old. They settled on the balcony with glasses of wine. The city stretched before them, a tapestry of lights against the darkening sky. "She's extraordinary," Sophia said, looking out over the view. "You're doing an amazing job with her." "Most days I feel like I'm failing spectacularly," Marcus admitted, balancing everything. "It's harder than I ever imagined." Single parenting isn't for the faint of heart. Marcus studied her profile. "You sound like you speak from experience." "Not as a parent," Sophia clarified. "But I was raised by a single mother after my father left when I was 4. I watched her juggle 3 jobs while getting her nursing degree. It shaped who I became." "Your mother sounds remarkable." "She is, and she'd like you." Marcus smiled. "You've known me less than a week." "How can you be so sure?" She always said, "You can tell a person's character by how they parent when they think no one's watching." Sophia turned to face him. "The way you speak to Lily, the respect you show her thoughts and feelings, it says a lot. I make plenty of mistakes. That's not the point. The effort is what matters." She hesitated before continuing. "May I ask about Lily's mother?" "You don't have to answer." Marcus took a long breath, surprised to find he wanted to tell her. "Rachel died 2 years ago. Car accident. Black ice. A curve taken slightly too fast. She was brilliant. A concert violinist. We met in college and married young." "I'm sorry," Sophia said simply. "That must have been devastating for both of you." "It was surreal at first, like I was watching someone else's tragedy unfold." Lily was only 3. "Sometimes I worry she'll forget Rachel completely." "Children remember love, even when the details fade," Sophia offered. "And you're keeping her mother alive in how you talk about her." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, the city humming below them. "What about you?" Marcus finally asked. "Has there been anyone serious?" Sophia smiled, ruefully. "There was. David, a fellow nurse. We were together for 4 years, engaged for 1. He wanted me to switch specialties. Pediatric oncology has brutal hours and emotional demands. When I wouldn't, he decided we wanted different lives. His loss, Marcus said quietly. I thought so. Sophia agreed with a small laugh. Still do most days. But it taught me something important about myself. What's that? That I won't compromise on the things that matter most to me. She held his gaze steadily. And you shouldn't either. As the evening grew late, neither seemed eager to end it. They moved from the balcony to the living room, where conversation shifted to childhood memories, favorite books, and dreams deferred. I always wanted to learn to sail, Marcus confessed. Rachel and I talked about buying a small boat someday. Why? Haven't you? He shrugged. Life got complicated, then narrower. It doesn't have to stay that way, Sophia suggested gently. When she finally prepared to leave, Marcus walked her to the door. I'd like to see you again. I'd like that too. She paused. But we should be careful, for Lily's sake. She gets attached. Quickly. So do I, Marcus admitted. It's a family trait, Sophia smiled. Then we should take our time. Do this right. Define right. Getting to know each other properly, before involving Lily too deeply. She touched his arm lightly. I care. About what happens to both of you. Dinner next weekend? He suggested. Just us. I can ask my sister to watch Lily. I'd like that. Sophia's expression softened. Very much. Their first official date took place at a small Italian restaurant tucked away in a quiet neighborhood. Without Lily present, they discovered new dimensions. To their connection, Sophia's dry wit matched Marcus's sarcasm perfectly, and their conversation ranged from healthcare policy to obscure films neither had found anyone else who appreciated. You're not what I expected, Sophia admitted over tiramisu. What did you expect? Typical CEO, all sharp edges and ambition. Marcus laughed. I have plenty of those too. Ask anyone at the office. But that's not all you are. She studied him, thoughtfully. You know what I find most attractive about you? My real estate portfolio, he joked. She rolled her eyes. The way you listen, really listen, when Lily speaks. Like what she's saying is the most important thing in the world. It usually is, he said simply. By their third date, a comfortable rhythm was developing between them. They agreed to proceed cautiously with Lily, limiting joint activities to once a week. Marcus found himself checking his phone constantly for Sophia's messages, which arrived throughout the day, observations about patients, funny anecdotes, or simply questions about his day. The first challenge to their budding relationship came when Marcus had to travel to Chicago for business. They had been seeing each other for nearly a month, and the 3-day separation felt unexpectedly difficult. I wish you could come with me, he told her during a late-night call from his hotel room. And leave your sister stranded with Lily for 3 days. I think Elena might have something to say about that. Elena adores you, almost as much as Lily does. He paused. Almost as much as I do. The words hung between them, unplanned but sincere. Marcus. Sophia's voice was soft. We agreed to take this slowly. I know, but I'm not known for my patience. So I've noticed. He could hear the smile in her voice. Tell me about the meeting. Tomorrow. By the time Marcus returned from Chicago, something had shifted subtly. The careful boundaries they'd established began to blur as Sophia spent more evenings at the penthouse, sometimes arriving in time for dinner with Lily, other times coming after bedtime for hours of conversation that stretched late into the night. One evening, 2 months into their relationship, Sophia arrived to find the apartment transformed. Marcus had arranged for Lily to stay overnight with his sister and had prepared a candlelit dinner on the balcony. What's the occasion? Sophia asked as he poured champagne, 2 months since you answered a wrong number, Marcus replied, and completely changed my life. Sophia smiled, lifting her glass. To fortuitous mistakes. After dinner, as they stood at the railing watching the city lights, Marcus turned to her. I need to tell you something. Her expression grew serious. That sounds ominous. Not at all. He took her hands in his. I'm falling in love with you, Sophia Reeves. I wasn't looking for this. Wasn't looking for anything except a babysitter that day. But now I can't imagine my life without you in it. Sophia's eyes glistened in the soft light. I'm falling in love with you too, and it terrifies me. Why? Because it's not just you. It's Lily too. I love her, Marcus. If this doesn't work between us, it will. He insisted. You can't know that. No one can. She squeezed his hands. I've seen what happens to children caught in adult crossfire. I don't want that for her. She's already lost so much. So have I, Marcus said quietly. And I'm tired of living half a life, because I'm afraid of losing again. Their first kiss, when it finally came, felt both inevitable and surprising, tender at first, then deepening with shared hunger. Later, as they lay tangled in his sheets, the city lights casting patterns across the ceiling, Sophia traced the lines of his face with gentle fingers. I've never done this before, she confessed. What, exactly? He teased, kissing her palm. Fallen for a patient's father. Technically, Lily wasn't your patient. You know what I mean. A family. It's complicated in ways I never anticipated. Marcus propped himself on one elbow. Too complicated, she shook her head. Worth the complexity. As summer turned to fall, their relationship deepened. Sophia started her new position at Metro Children's, bringing renewed purpose to her days. Marcus found himself restructuring his work schedule to accommodate more family time, delegating tasks he'd previously insisted on handling personally. You seem different, his sister, Eleanor, remarked one Sunday afternoon, while watching Lily and her own children play in the park. Sophia had gone to visit her mother for the weekend, and Marcus was surprised by how acutely he felt her absence after just one day. Different how? Lighter. Like you've set down something heavy you've been carrying. Elena studied him. She's good for you. Both of you. Marcus watched as Lily scaled the climbing structure, more confident than he'd seen her in years. Yes, she is. Are you going to ask her to move in with you? The question caught him off guard. We haven't discussed it. Maybe you should. Elena smiled knowingly. Unless you're waiting for something else first. Later that night, after Lily was asleep, Marcus called Sophia. I miss you, he said without preamble when she answered. I miss you too, both of you. She sounded tired but happy. Mom's doing much better. The new medication is working. That's wonderful news. It is. She's eager to meet you and Lily. I'd like that. Marcus paused, gathering his courage. Elena asked me today if you were moving in with us. Sophia was quiet for a moment. What? Did you tell her? That we hadn't discussed it. But now I can't stop thinking about it. Marcus? Not yet. He clarified quickly. I know it's too soon. I know we need to consider Lily and how it would affect her. But someday, I want someday. With you, Sophia, I want that too, she whispered. Someday. The first serious test of their relationship came unexpectedly in November. One of Sophia's patients, a 7-year-old girl with leukemia, took a sudden turn for the worse. For 5 days, Sophia barely left the hospital, catching moments of sleep in the on-call room between critical interventions. Marcus brought coffee and meals. Sitting with her during brief breaks, he witnessed firsthand the depth of her commitment as she fought alongside the medical team to stabilize the child. On the 6th day, When the crisis finally passed and the girl was declared stable, Sophia emerged from the hospital, looking exhausted, but profoundly relieved. Marcus was waiting in the lobby. "She's going to make it," Sophia said, collapsing into the chair beside him. It was close, but she pulled through. Marcus wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "You're amazing, you know that. Just doing my job." "No, it's more than that." He kissed her temple. "You give pieces of your heart to these children. I've seen it now." Sophia leaned against him, her fatigue evident. "Take me home." It wasn't until they were in the car that Marcus realized what she'd said. Home. Not your place, or the apartment, but home. At Thanksgiving, Sophia joined Marcus, Lily, and the extended family for dinner at Elena's house. She fit seamlessly into the family dynamic, helping in the kitchen, entertaining the children, and engaging Marcus's father in a lengthy discussion about jazz that delighted the usually reserved older man. "She's a keeper," his father announced when they found a moment alone. "I know," Marcus replied. "I'm planning to ask her at Christmas." The older man nodded approvingly. "Your mother's ring? If you think she would have wanted that, she would have. No doubt in my mind." As December arrived, Marcus found his thoughts increasingly focused on the small velvet box hidden in his office safe. He'd had his mother's engagement ring resized and the antique setting refurbished, transforming it into something both timeless and uniquely suited to Sophia. Lily sensed something brewing, her excitement about Christmas reaching fever pitch as she dropped increasingly unsubtle hints about wanting Sophia to be part of their family permanently. "Santa brings the best presents to people who live together," she informed Marcus solemnly one evening while they decorated the penthouse. "That's why he's bringing something extra special for Sophia this year." Marcus nearly dropped an ornament. "Is that right? And how would you know what Santa's bringing?" Lily shrugged mysteriously. "Angels tell me things." On December 23rd, Sophia arrived laden with gifts and overnight bags, prepared to spend the holiday with them. They had planned a quiet Christmas Eve, just the three of them, followed by family celebrations on Christmas Day. That evening, after they'd placed the final presents under the tree and tucked an excitable Lily into bed, with promises that morning would come faster if she actually slept, Marcus and Sophia curled up on the couch with glasses of wine. "I have something for you," Marcus said, reaching behind a cushion where he'd hidden a small wrapped package earlier. An early Christmas gift. Sophia accepted it with raised eyebrows. "We agreed to wait until tomorrow. This one's special." She unwrapped it carefully, revealing a leather-bound book. Opening the cover, she gasped softly. Inside was a photo album, documenting their months together. Pictures of the three of them at the park, at the beach, making dinner, playing board games. Interspersed were handwritten notes from both Marcus and Lily. The final page held a single photograph. Marcus and Lily standing on the balcony, arms outstretched toward the camera, with a banner between them reading, "Our family has room for one more." When Sophia looked up, tears shimmering in her eyes, Marcus was kneeling before her, the small velvet box open in his palm. "Sophia Reeves, who came into our lives by accident and stayed by choice. Will you marry me? Will you be part of our family? Officially?" For one terrible moment, Sophia didn't speak, her eyes fixed on the ring. "Marcus," she finally whispered, "are you sure? This is fast. We've only known each other 8 months." "I've never been more certain of anything," he answered. "And I think you know it too. Some things don't need years to prove themselves true." Her smile bloomed slowly, radiantly. "Yes, yes, I will marry you." As he slipped the ring onto her finger, They heard a small gasp from the hallway. Turning, they found Lily in her pajamas, hands pressed to her mouth in delight. "Did she say yes?" Lily asked breathlessly. "Is Sophia going to be my mom now?" Marcus glanced at Sophia, uncertain how to navigate this delicate territory. But Sophia was already opening her arms to the little girl. "I will never replace your mom, Lily," she said, as the child climbed into her lap. "Your mom will always be your mom, and she loves you so much. But if you want, I would be honored to be your bonus mom, someone who loves you just as much. In addition." Lily considered this seriously. "Can I still call you Sophia?" "You can call me whatever makes you comfortable." "Okay." Lily nodded decisively. "I'll call you Sophia, Mom." The newly engaged couple exchanged surprised glances over the child's head, both feeling the weight and wonder of this improvised title. "That sounds perfect," Sophia whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Christmas morning arrived with the chaotic joy that only a 5-year-old could generate. Lily bounded into their bedroom at an ungodly hour, announcing that Santa had come, and they needed to hurry. Marcus watched with quiet amazement as Sophia, despite having been woken from a deep sleep, responded with enthusiasm that matched his daughter's. 5 minutes, she promised Lily. "Go brush your teeth, and we'll be right there." When the child raced from the room, Marcus pulled Sophia close. "Last chance to back out. The Christmas morning chaos is just the beginning." "Never," she murmured, against his lips. "This is exactly where I want to be." The living room had transformed overnight into a wonderland of gifts and decorations that seemed to multiply after Lily had gone to bed. Sophia had added her own touches. Stockings bulging with thoughtful small items, a plate of cookies with artful bites taken out, and a handwritten note from Santa that made Lily squeal with delight. "He knows my name," she exclaimed, clutching the parchment to her chest. "Of course he does," Sophia said, winking at Marcus. "You're on the very good list," as Lily tore through her presents with methodical enthusiasm. Marcus found himself watching Sophia more than his daughter. The woman, who had appeared in their lives through a wrong number, had somehow become the missing piece they hadn't known they were seeking. "Your turn," he said, handing Sophia a large, awkwardly wrapped package. "You already gave me the most important gift," she protested, touching her engagement ring. "This one's special too," he insisted. Inside the package was a hand-carved wooden sign reading, "The Everetts," with space underneath for 3 names, Marcus, Lily, and a blank space clearly intended for Sophia. "For the front door," he explained, "once it's official." "I love it," she whispered, tracing the letters. "But you know I'm keeping my professional name for work. Dr. Reeves at the hospital, Mrs. Everett at home." "Perfect." Later that morning, as Lily played with her new toys and the adults sipped coffee, Sophia's phone rang. Checking the number, she frowned slightly. "It's the hospital. I should take this." She stepped onto the balcony, closing the door behind her. Marcus watched through the glass as her expression changed from concern to shock. When she returned, her face was pale. "What's wrong?" he asked immediately. "That was Dr. Patel. They've had an emergency with one of my patients. Mia, the girl with leukemia, who was critical last month." Sophia ran a hand through her hair, clearly distressed. Her brother was just diagnosed with the same rare form of leukemia. They're doing genetic testing on the whole family now, but they want me there for consultation. "Of course," Marcus nodded. "We'll be fine here." On Christmas morning, Sophia added miserably, "Our first Christmas together." "Hey," he took her hands in his. "This is who you are. It's one of the reasons I love you. Go help that family. We'll be waiting when you get back." Sophia knelt beside Lily. explaining gently that she needed to help a sick child at the hospital. To Marcus's surprise, his daughter nodded solemnly. "That's your important job," Lily said with unexpected maturity. "Like Daddy's meetings." "Exactly," Sophia agreed, relieved. "I'll be back as soon as I can, and we'll celebrate more then." After Sophia left, Lily helped Marcus clean up the wrapping paper, her usual boundless energy somewhat subdued. "Is Sophia Mom coming back tonight?" she asked as they prepared for Elena's annual Christmas dinner. "I hope so, but I'm not sure. Her patient might need her for a while." Lily considered this. Mom had important concerts sometimes too. Marcus felt his heart constrict at the comparison. "Yes, she did." "It's okay," Lily declared, pulling on her new red sweater. "Families understand important work." Elena's house was festive chaos when they arrived. Cousins running about, adults preparing, food, Christmas music, competing with the sound of new toys. Marcus found himself frequently checking his phone for messages from Sophia. "She'll be here when she can," Elena assured him, handing him a glass of wine. "Stop hovering over that phone like it might explode." "It's her first Christmas with us," Marcus explained. "I wanted it to be perfect." "Perfect is overrated," his sister said wisely. "Real is better." It was nearly 8 o'clock when the doorbell rang. Lily, who had been starting to droop with exhaustion, despite her protests, suddenly perked up. "It's Sophia, Mom," she announced, racing toward the door ahead of everyone else. When Eleanor opened the door, Sophia stood on the threshold, looking exhausted but relieved. She had clearly come directly from the hospital, still wearing scrubs under her coat, her hair hastily pulled back. "I'm so sorry I'm late," she began, but was immediately interrupted by Lily launching herself into her arms. "You came back!" the child exclaimed, wrapping her arms around Sophia's neck. "I promised I would," Sophia reminded her, lifting the girl effortlessly. "I just needed to help my patient first." Marcus approached more slowly, taking in the picture they made. His daughter and his fiancée, both looking tired, but utterly content in each other's company. "Welcome home," he said simply, embracing them both. Later that night, after they had returned to the penthouse, and Lily had finally succumbed to sleep, Marcus and Sophia sat on the balcony despite the December cold, wrapped in blankets, and each other's arms. "Tell me about your patient," Marcus encouraged. Sophia sighed, her breath visible in the winter air. "It's complicated. 2 siblings with the same rare cancer. The genetic implications are concerning. Are they going to be okay? I hope so. We're exploring some experimental treatments." She rested her head on his shoulder. "I'm sorry our first Christmas got interrupted." "Don't be. Seeing you walk through that door tonight, tired, in scrubs, having spent your holiday saving lives. I've never been more certain I want to marry you." She looked up at him. Even with the interrupted holidays, the unpredictable schedule, even with all of it, he kissed her forehead. "This is our life. The real one. Not some airbrushed version. And I wouldn't change a thing." They were married in May, when spring had fully blossomed across the city. The ceremony was held in the botanical gardens, with Lily serving as flower girl, her solemn responsibility of scattering rose petals, undertaken with characteristic determination. Sophia had chosen a simple gown of ivory silk that contrasted dramatically with her copper hair, now grown past her shoulders. Marcus found himself unable to look away from her as she walked down the aisle on her mother's arm, her eyes never leaving his. "You're staring," she whispered when she reached him. "I plan to spend the rest of my life staring at you," he replied, taking her hands in his. The reception was an elegant affair, with string quartet music, that Marcus had selected in honor of Rachel, a gesture that moved Sophia deeply. When it came time for toasts, Elena stood first, raising her glass toward the newlyweds. To wrong numbers that turn out to be exactly right, she declared, "May you always answer each other's calls." Later, as they danced beneath strings of fairy lights, Marcus held his wife close, happy. "Beyond words," Sophia answered, "though I keep expecting a phone to ring and interrupt us." "I had all our phones confiscated for the evening," he confessed. "Elena's idea," Sophia laughed. "Remind me to thank her." Their honeymoon was a sailing trip along the coast, Marcus's childhood dream, finally realized with Sophia by his side. For 2 weeks, they navigated blue waters by day and harbored in quiet coves by night, learning the rhythms of the sea and each other. "I could get used to this," Sophia mused one evening as they watched the sunset from the deck of their chartered yacht. "The simplicity of it. We could buy a boat," Marcus suggested. "Weekend trips, summer vacations with Lily. I'd like that." She leaned against him, building traditions together. Returning to real life after such idyllic escape proved challenging. Sophia's work at the hospital intensified. As she was appointed to lead a new pediatric research initiative, Marcus found himself restructuring his company's leadership to create more flexible time for his expanded family. Their first major argument came in August, when Sophia was scheduled to present at a medical conference, the same weekend as Lily's dance recital. "I've been working on this presentation for months," Sophia explained, frustration evident in her voice. "It could secure funding for our entire research program. And Lily has been practicing this dance routine for months," Marcus countered. "She expects both of us to be there." They stood in the kitchen, tension crackling between them, both exhausted from demanding weeks, both feeling the weight of competing priorities. "I can't just cancel," Sophia insisted. "This isn't some optional corporate dinner. Lives depend on this research. And what about the life in this home?" Marcus regretted the words as soon as they left his mouth, seeing how they landed like physical blows. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. "That's not fair." "You're right. I'm sorry." He reached for her, relieved when she didn't pull away. "I'm tired and being selfish. We both are." She sighed against his chest. "I wanted to be at that recital. I hate disappointing her." They stood in silence for several moments, the argument dissolving into shared exhaustion. "What if we compromise?" Marcus finally suggested. "You go to your conference, but we record the recital. When you get back Sunday night, we have a special viewing party. Popcorn, applause, the works." Lily might even prefer having her own private encore performance. Sophia looked up at him. "You think she'd understand?" "I think she's learning that loving someone means supporting their dreams, even when it's inconvenient." He brushed a strand of hair from her face. "Something I'm still learning myself." The solution proved better than either had anticipated. Lily was delighted by the idea of a private showing, especially when Sophia promised to bring her a special gift from the conference city. The viewing party became a new tradition, one that celebrated both Lily's accomplishments and Sophia's professional commitments. Their first anniversary arrived with spring flowers and a special surprise. Marcus had arranged a family picnic in the park where they had spent so many weekend afternoons. As they spread blankets beneath flowering cherry trees, Sophia produced a small wrapped package. "What's this?" Marcus asked, accepting it curiously. "Open it and see." Inside was a small wooden ornament shaped like a sailboat, with 3 figures painted on the deck. "Turn it over," Sophia urged, her eyes shining. On the back was inscribed, "The Everetts, Marcus, Sophia, Lily, and baby makes 4. Marcus stared at the ornament, then at his wife's glowing face. Understanding dawning slowly. "You're almost 3 months," she confirmed. "Due in October." He gathered her into his arms, laughing and crying simultaneously. "Does Lily know?" "Not yet. I thought we should tell her together." They called Lily over from where she was feeding ducks at the pond's edge. The 6-year-old approached with curious expression, noting the emotional faces of her parents. "We have something important to tell you," Marcus began, pulling Lily onto his lap. "You're going to be a big sister," Sophia continued, watching the child's face carefully. Lily's eyes widened, her mouth forming a perfect O of surprise. Then she frowned slightly. "Is the baby in your tummy?" "Yes." Sophia placed a hand on her still flat abdomen. "Right here." "Did it get there by accident? Like when you came to our house by accident?" The adults exchanged amused glances. "Not exactly," Marcus hedged. "This baby is very much planned and wanted. The best plans sometimes start with beautiful accidents," Sophia added softly. Lily nodded sagely. "Like when Daddy called the wrong number." "Exactly like that," Marcus agreed, drawing both his girls close. The best wrong number in history. As summer progressed, Sophia's pregnancy became more pronounced. She continued working, though she agreed to reduce her hours slightly at Marcus's concerned insistence. They converted the home office into a nursery, with Lily offering extremely specific opinions about the decor. "The baby needs stars on the ceiling," she informed them seriously, "so they can make wishes like I do." Marcus found himself remembering the nights after Rachel's death, when he had painted those very stars on Lily's ceiling, a gesture born of grief and love that had somehow become a treasured family tradition. Now, standing on a ladder with glow-in-the-dark paint, he created a new constellation for their expanding family. In early October, as the leaves began changing color across the city, Sophia woke Marcus in the middle of the night. "It's time," she said calmly, though her eyes betrayed her nervousness. "My water just broke." Everything they had planned, the carefully packed hospital bag, the arranged childcare for Lily, the notification list for family, suddenly seemed insufficient preparation for the reality of the moment. "Should we call Dr. Rivera?" Marcus asked, reaching for his phone. Sophia nodded, already breathing through the first contraction. "And Elena for Lily." The next 12 hours passed in a blur of hospital corridors, medical staff, and increasingly intense contractions. Marcus remained by Sophia's side throughout, marveling at her strength and focus, even as she navigated the pain. "I've seen hundreds of births," she gasped during a particularly difficult moment. "But experiencing it is something else entirely." "You're incredible," he told her, meaning it more than any words he'd ever spoken. When their son finally arrived, red-faced and indignant at his sudden entry into the world, Marcus felt the same overwhelming rush of love he had experienced when Lily was born. But this time, the moment was tinged with an additional sweetness. Watching Sophia transform from physician to mother before his eyes. "Hello, little one," she whispered, as the baby was placed in her arms. "We've been waiting for you." They named him Daniel, after Sophia's father. When Lily came to meet her brother later that day, escorted by a beaming Elena, her initial shyness quickly gave way to proprietary pride. "He's so small," she marveled, peering at the swaddled bundle. "Was I that small?" "Even smaller," Marcus assured her. "Would you like to hold him?" With solemn concentration, Lily sat in the hospital chair, arms positioned exactly as Eleanor demonstrated, receiving her brother with expression of wonder. "I'm your big sister," she informed Daniel seriously. "That's a very important job." Standing beside the hospital bed, Marcus wrapped an arm around Sophia's shoulders. as they watched their children's first meeting. "Thank you," he murmured against her hair. "For what?" "For answering a wrong number. For loving Lily. For Daniel. For everything." Sophia leaned against him, exhausted but radiantly happy. "Best mistake you ever made." "No mistake," Marcus corrected, gently. "Maybe the universe just has its own way of connecting the right people." As fall deepened into winter, the family settled into new rhythms. Nighttime feedings and diaper changes became part of their routine, with Marcus and Sophia taking turns attending to Daniel's needs, while ensuring Lily still received the attention she required. On a snowy December evening, almost 2 years to the day since that first accidental phone call, Marcus found Sophia in the nursery, Daniel asleep against her shoulder, as she gazed out at the city lights. "Penny for your thoughts," he said softly, joining her at the window. "I was just thinking about how much has changed in 2 years." She turned to him, her face soft in the dimmed light. "How one wrong number changed everything." "Maybe it wasn't wrong after all," Marcus suggested, gently brushing his fingers against Daniel's downy head. "Maybe it was the one right number I was always meant to call." Sophia smiled, the same smile that had first captivated him in the lobby of this very building. "Either way, I'm glad I answered." From the doorway came a small voice. "Daddy, Sophia, Mom, can we read a story?" They turned to find Lily in her pajamas, clutching a book and looking hopeful despite the late hour. "One short one," Sophia agreed. "Then bed." As they settled onto Lily's bed, Daniel still sleeping peacefully against Sophia's chest, Marcus felt a profound sense of completion. The family he had feared was permanently fractured, had been remade. Different but whole, stronger in its mended places. "Once upon a time," Lily began, opening her book with dramatic flair, "there was a wrong number that turned out to be exactly right." Marcus and Sophia exchanged surprised glances. "That's not how the story starts," Marcus pointed out gently. "It's how our story starts," Lily corrected with absolute certainty. "And it's my favorite one." As snow fell softly outside the windows of the penthouse, Marcus couldn't help but agree. Of all the stories in the world, this accidental beginning, this wrong number that had connected him to exactly the right person, was indeed the most perfect one of all. The end.